Yo boys, how you doing? It's your boy Flakzz, and today I'm gonna show you two of my tunes from upcoming EP. Label name gonna be soon. So for today, I'm gonna deconstruct the first tune. It's called Broken. I'll literally put my soul, like my everything inside it, and I worked so hard on it. And right now I'm gonna show you part by part how it goes. First of all, I wanna play it a little bit for you. Yo, what's good boy? How you doing? Alex. Oh, bunch of you Alexes. So yeah guys, let's go, let's proceed on it.
Okay. Pump up the
So this is how it sounds like, the intro, the first drop, and all the things inside there. So let's start. I usually start with intro, to be honest, because intro most like kind of main thing for me, and without intro I'm kind of struggling to make it drop with the tune. So in intro I'm trying to set the mood for a tune, how it's gonna sound like, and usually I like to put some kind of set melodies inside it, and after that, once I have my intro done, I already have some kind of sounds inside my head which could give me an idea to create a drop. So I usually start I'm recording it. So I usually start with my Juno 106. I like this plugin so much, and not gonna lie, all producers using patches for sure, but for sure I don't want to use the original one, so I changed a few knobs on there. These knobs actually were the sub and noise. I get rid of them because I don't actually need the sub bass and noise on such instruments like that. And after that I decided to go with EQ in it. We have call it sick plug on there. I usually cover the main things inside my FL Studio, so it's gonna be more comfortable for me to work with. And on there I put disperser with F# key, for a little bit blobby sound. As for me, it creates some kind of vocoder effect, but I can't really explain how it works, but if it works, it works. So yeah, I get rid of pinch on full amount because I don't want to create the resonance once the F# key on there. If it's gonna be like this, it's just gonna create the weird resonance, and I actually don't need it, to be honest. The next thing, I like all my things in tunes to sound kind of warm and fat at the same time. So for this purpose, I like to use OTT. Everyone likes to use OTT, not gonna lie. And here I'm just being really careful with the depth knob. I put 6% on there, and I felt that this synth in the beginning, this guy, it was a little bit quiet as for me, and you should never struggle to use outgain knob. And in my purpose, I've used like 5.1 dB on there, and for sure get rid of low frequencies, because who need low frequencies on plugs, like being serious. To achieve the clean and loud mixdown, you should actually get rid of all these low things inside your mix, like on hi-hats, rides, like any effects, uplifters, downlifters, plugs, leads, all this stuff. You should always get rid of low frequencies there. For example, there is no special digits to cut low frequencies from, but usually I'm doing kind of high passing from 150 to 200 Hertz, and this working absolutely best for me, to be honest. Next thing there, I put the Valhalla room, because if I want to put reverb on every instrument, it's still gonna create a little bit of atmosphere inside my tune, and it's a good thing. If you're gonna put reverb on everywhere, you should be really careful with that, because people don't like a lot of things and where they over reverb so much, and it's just gonna sound dirty. So in my purpose, I decreased the mix knob till the 25%, and 0 and 12 seconds only for decay, and it worked good for me. Anything else there were set as a default. Next thing is kind of compressor there. I chosen the low high mode on there. Compression actually turned off, but this mode still working. I turned the mix on the 100% and still got a little bit of output on there. Next thing, reverb again, 8% of mix, 0 and 20 seconds, everything else set as a default. Next thing, this one is my favorite plugins. It's SoundSpot MSW1. This thing is actually one knob mono in stereo thing, and it's one of the best ones, to be honest. If you want to go full mono, you just go in there. If you want to go full stereo, but I assume it's going to be a bad idea, because you want your stereo to be set carefully in your mix, so you just choose it by digits until you're gonna like it. There is no specific digits, as I said earlier. You should actually check everything by ear, and when you're producing a lot, you're actually gonna train your ear, trust me, and you're gonna hear all these things when some of the leads or plugs inside the mix should be like wider or mono-ish. So yeah, I'm using the SoundSpot. And the very last thing here is kind of VRTQ, a Fab filter Pro Q3. I get rid of all resonances on there, and I guess like every instrument inside the mix there, everything should have their own room inside the mix. And sometimes, if you're gonna listen to this instrument alone, for sure it's gonna sound a little bit thin for you, but if you're gonna play everything together, it's not gonna sound thin, because some of other instruments completing each other, and at this point we actually feeling good in our mix. So this is how I went there. Next thing,
make your music stand out, get more views, and way more engagement. Bring your music to life. Get Music Visualizer in every format, even for social media. Get started today. The link is in the description.
After this plug, I like to add some kind of set and a little bit offbeat notes here. For example, this one. This one. Being honest, I don't know any keys at all. I'm writing all my melodies by my ear, and until I feel that it's not failing in terms of sounding, if it feels good for my ear, I think like, yeah, it's pretty good, why not to put this one? And for all these beautiful leads and plugs, for sure I'm using this giant boy called Omnisphere. And not being sarcastic, for sure, I'm proceeding through a lot of presets there, you can choose a lot of things there, and I'm barely changing anything. Like, as I remember, I increased the gain there, and the voices, pretty much all. And I actually like to go into effects section, and after that I'm trying to get rid of some odd effects which I actually don't need. For example, as you can see, it was reverb there, and I don't need this because I have set reverb by my own. Hold on, it's a little bit laggy for me right now. Jesus, why it should start right now? I'm just gonna press F12. Hold on. And no, please, don't lag right now, dude. We don't need this. Oh, okay, finally. I actually get rid of reverb there because I set the vocal vintage verb there, and at this point we don't need to use default reverb plugin inside the Omnisphere. As for me, the vocal vintage verb is one of the best plugins you could ever use for reverb. So yeah, I set 29 on mix and 1.32 seconds, and since I like all these atmospheric reverb sounds, I've been proceeding through the color things there, and I've chosen 1980s. It worked best for me, and I was like, yeah, okay, why not? I'm gonna set this one there. As I said earlier, I using SoundSpot MSW1 there, and I set it on 45% because checking by my ear, it was more than enough to set it in the right position where it's gonna sounding good and not too mono, not too stereo at the same time. Next thing, OTT again, and I literally went bonkers there with the out gain. Sometimes it works, trust me. Sometimes you should risk and put your out gain on the volumes like that, because sometimes some of these presets were, if you're doing all these things by your own, sometimes they could be a little bit quiet because they're not compressed well. And here I put this multiband compression, OTT. I decreased a little bit of high and middle frequencies because, as for me, it was sounding a little bit harshy. And I get rid fully of low frequencies on there because I don't need low frequencies on such instrument, as I said earlier. And I just went bonkers on outgain. And depths, for me, I just added some color to the sound, and the best thing for me to put there from 10 till 20%. But mostly I'm going with 15%, it actually works best on everything, going from synths to effects to drums and all this stuff being together. Next in there is frequency shifter, full bucket frequency shifter. As I remember, this one is free download, and I actually just been experimenting, to be honest. I wanted some kind of detune. Hey Vadim, how do you feel about FL Stock Reverb 2? Hey man, hey Kyle. Actually, I've been using it back in the days when I only started producing, but I felt that it's sounding a little bit too cheap, as for me. Maybe it's on my side that I can't actually use it that good. I'm pretty sure guys like Space Laces can handle it easily, but as for me, it wasn't really necessary to use this one, and I assumed the best variant, at least for me, would be the Valhalla Vintage Verb. So there is a lot of reverb plugins, but this one worked like a charm for me, so you should try it for sure. So I went here with a little bit of detune at 5 Hz frequency range only, and it still created some little bit of resonance, and I decreased the mix because it still was too noticeable. And the thing about effects for me, you should put a little bit, like step by step, and walk really carefully with mix volume of each VST. So all of these effects, when they combined, they're gonna create a good kind of rack for your sound. Like, and it doesn't matter what you're working on. It could be a drums, it could be a synth, it could be a sub bass, it could be literally everything. And I like to work really carefully on things like that. And this is why I usually put a mix on a really low volume, like mostly from 5 maybe till 35%. But some situations requiring even more. So it actually depends of situations. There is no specific things in music. You could experiment like however and as much as you want. And the next thing here is a pitch shifter. I like this guy very much. This VST is pretty cool. And the thing here, I like to add in extra texture to my sounds. So here I put the plus 12 semitones and turn the mix on the full, but as you can see there, I turn it down by 50%. It means it still has originally low keys from original MIDI, and plus 12 semitones goes from this VST, and it creates kind of chord effect. And I like how it sounds, like on a serious note. If I'm gonna turn this off, I'm pretty sure you could notice the difference. It's not sounding that good as for me, so this is why I like to abuse this one so much. And look how it's beautiful sounding right now. Let's proceed with effects. I like put a lot of things on the background because I don't like making empty intros, to be honest. Intros is the main thing for me, at least for me, in the music, and it really sets the mood, and I like putting a lot of things. Like, could be all these crashes, all these stabs, all these hi-hats. Not gonna lie, all producers using sample packs could be sample packs not made by their own. They're actually using someone else's sample packs. And here, I have Crash Roll made by Sultan. And I just actually stretched it and set a little bit of EQ in it. I actually just get rid of low frequencies there. And this is how it sounds like. Sounds a little bit weird playing solo, but it still creates this small little texture on the background which makes your tune sounding fuller. Let's proceed to this one shot. It's actually a hi-hat. So actually there, I made, it's supposed to be a crash, I assume? No, I'm sorry, it's just hi-hat. I get rid of low frequencies also there, just till 200 Hz, and MSW1 as usual, to make this a little bit wider than it used to be. Next thing here, I have cashmere brass, but I stretch it like super hard, like as you can see there. I stretched it, and I actually set the different pitch on each sample. To set this one right in key with this melody I had as a MIDI. You can hear it goes and this on background. This is why I like putting a lot of things on the background, so it feels so much fuller. Because like I don't feel that I could make a cool drop without cool intro. And here I have again brass of him of cashmere. Again, I stretch it a little bit and set the different pitch on each instrument, and I made a little bit quick fade out on the synth, on this lead, because it was quite long as for me and had this kind of weird tail in the end, and I was like, I don't need it that long, and I decided to cut it off. And here I have OTT for sure to make it a little bit fatter. I only increased the depths by the 21%, everything else here set as a default. Fab filter from ProQ. I decreased the resonance, which were at 276 Hz, and I set it by minus 22 dB. Yeah, it works sometimes like that. Sounds like crazy digits, but it was literally raping my ear, and I was like, no, I don't need this. I still want to everything in my mix to be set in the right place. And MSW1 again. Next thing here, little snares. I kind of started to build up there, and at this point I wanted to introduce the intro to the full point. Like here I have I'm calling this one kind of relax moment before the bar 9. It's actually intro of intro. It's just introducing few melodies, introducing few little instruments, and I'm like to go fully bonkers from the bar 9. I actually show in full mood how it goes and how it's gonna proceed. For example, you can actually hear there how chill it goes there and how it starts from this point. Not to mention I have lots of things like dystopian drone. I set this one in key, I decrease the volume because it's gonna be way too loud. I still like to set kind of sustained things on the background, so it's still gonna sound fully at this point. And don't hesitate to use even white noise, pink noise, like literally everything in the background. If you hesitate with kind of setting the background, like if you don't feel that your intro full, don't hesitate to set things like that. It's still gonna help. And I assume the best thing would be actually to set them in key also with your actual project. And here I added a little bit of reverb with the Velho Vintage Verb, set a little bit of OTT, and for sure I get rid, as always, from the low frequencies because we don't need them. Few risers there. I'm not really sure I need to explain with risers things. As I said, low frequencies, MSW1 for stereo, and for sure I'm making them quieter in the mix because usually all this thing going pretty loud, and I don't need this super loud white noise. It's gonna create the tinnitus for some people, and I want people to enjoy my music and not to get rid of it. What would you think about Ableton stock OTT compared to Xfer? I guess the Ableton OTT, it has more options. As for me, like literally more knobs and literally more movement, like, but it's I'm pretty sure it's still different coding in VST and different default settings. I assume while you're setting the Xfer OTT on some instrument, or if you're setting the Ableton one, they're still gonna sound different because you can't literally copy the one VST, which were literally a stock one for years for Ableton, and create the actual copy of it. I still assume they sounding different, but I still think they both sounding good, and you should use both of them. But since I'm using FL Studio, I actually use sometimes Ableton. For sure, I've been using OTT default one, but as I can find a different thing in FL Studio, and I don't want to use 3D compressor and such stuff, I would like to use OTT. If I had an option to use an Ableton OTT inside FL Studio, for sure I would do that. But yeah, they're quite on the same level, to be honest. Next thing here, I have vocal. Let's reset it in a key, get rid of low frequencies, MSW1, it's already had reverb as a sample, so there is no actual need there. Let's proceed to this part, because here I just used few swipes, like few uplifters to make it even more full here, a little bit of automations there, they set as a default there, because usually they proceed through the drop there, Endless Smile especially. Let's proceed to this part.
Damn.
So actually there I used vocal. I don't know what it says, like being honest, but I like the way how it sounds like. I made it so much cleaner with a lot of post-processing here. It actually has, as you can see, like 2 full racks of FL Studio post-processing. Here, really VRTQ, because it was actually YouTube sample. I cut off the middle frequencies, low frequencies. Next thing, disperser. I wanted this to be like blippy, vocodery, so I decided to set it F sharp since it's the main key of my project. Next thing, OTT, a little bit of fatness, increase the high frequencies on the full and low frequencies on the full. For some reason it works. Sometimes you just getting rid of frequencies and you increasing them with the OTT, and it works even better than it was without. So it's just all about experimenting there with OTT especially. Next thing, Velho Room. The minimal decay, minimal pre-delay, but almost 50% on mix. Pitch shifter, -12, semitones, 30% in the mix, to create this low pitch texture. Fat filter per Q, get rid of a lot of resonances there. There was literally a lot of them. And I was like, okay, I need to cut this off to make the sound cleaner. And this is how I proceed with my Q. Looks weird, but it works. Tape stop. This one, actually, I made this one to make this kind of hip-hoppy feeling in my intro because it goes tie, 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 toy. So this toy, this tape stop, make this box. Next thing, effect tricks. This is actually cool effects VST. You have a lot of options here, but the main one I'm using mostly is tonal delay. And here I set the F sharp, minimum feedback, a little bit on width, and full and high pass. And for the master mix, I turned it on 15%. It was more than enough for me at this point because I don't need a lot of tonal delay on vocal. Next in Big Crush, was kind of experimenting, made it on like 44.1 kilohertz. I assume it's the maximum. Yeah, it's the maximum there. Everything else I assume left as a default. And Endless Smile, I'm using this one a lot for the better transitions between the drop and intro. It's actually create the cool difference. Everything else in there, things like hi-hats, loops, other things, just been picked up from the different sample packs, and I've been setting them up in the right pitch, right time, and this is how it sounds like together, and things like that. Here I used Omnisphere again, like one of the best VSTs, hands down. Here, like total octave brass, and I get rid of the reverb there, and I liked actually this chorus echo, so I left it. I was like, yeah, okay, it sounds great at this point. And here I had like few uplifters and this phrase before the actual build up. I like putting phrases before build ups, so at this point it sets the mindset inside people's head that boom, something gonna happen right now. And at this point we have the build up happening. Yeah, I'm gonna show how I made my drums, like how I post-process them, how to make them punchy, beefy, and all this stuff combined. So here, I have one of my favorite kicks. Sick kick fixed. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Okay, it sounds like this. I actually was inspired by Space Laces in terms of drums. Not gonna lie, everyone likes his drums. And here how it came out. It's actually in default sounds like this.
Make your music stand out, get more views, and way more engagement. Bring your music to life. Get Music Visualizer. In every format, even for social media. Get started today. The link is in the description.
Like a little bit of tail, and I decided I want a short kick for my drop, because short kick, short clap combo, but at the same time when they juicy and beefy, it sounds pretty much good. And here, how I usually post-process my drums. I have Transpire here, one of the best VSTs for me. Here we have attack knob, here we have the sustain knob, and here we have outgain knob, and here's the sensitivity. I set the sensitivity on 0, because I don't want it to be like super punchy. It's still gonna work in terms of attack and sustain and other things. I want it to be more clicky-ish, so at this point, if you want your drums to make more clicky, you don't need to put percussions under it. Like sometimes you could, but I don't need this. And I turned the attack on 7.5. I also turned the full on sustain to make it beefy because it was quite short, and I decided that I still need some kind of chest sound in this kick, and I was like, okay, I need to put sustain on full. And next thing, I turned there a little bit on outgain to make it a little bit louder. Next thing, I have really premium EQ. I get rid of high frequencies. I'll get a little bit from low frequencies till the 45 Hz. I get rid a little bit of resonance on there. Pep filter, actually get rid from low frequencies till 13 Hz. And here I get rid from another resonance, I assume, because I would never delete something from my drums without any reason, so it should have been a reason. And I've decided to cut this one off. I actually layered this one with Sultan kick, but as you can hear, it's on really low volume. And here, it's actually nothing in it, because it was sounding quite well without it. The next thing about my drums, here I have decap. I decided to put this one on this each snare to make it like more punchier, because without this one it would not sound like that powerful. The snare, the clap, the thing about that clap would not sound really punchy without a really punchy drum. And I decided to cut off the fade out, to make it like, it actually sounds a little bit like super short 808, but I was like, nah, I don't need that long. Made it super short, and get rid a little bit of bass frequencies on there, because it was quite too subby as for me. And in the end, I got kind of cool combo with my drums. I really hope they're gonna work well. So yeah, it sounds like this. And together. I actually layered another clap. So here, first clap. Pre-programming cue, this clap from a sample pack made by my own. MSW1 to make it more stereo. OTT for the volume and a little bit of compression. Even 3% depth would work for this. And layer it with the Sultan clap. Nothing here being really changed. I actually just turned down the volume, as you can see there. And got rid of low frequencies and a little bit of middle, because it sounded like way too middle-ish frequency for me. Like, it was sound like instead of ch. I like things being clean in my mix. This is why I'm trying to get rid of all these things. About my toms. Since toms is also part of the drum things inside there, I like my toms being punchy and clicky. And for this point, I chosen Byte by Native Instruments. I increased a little bit of crunch and jitter here, and a little bit of saturation, everything else being set as a default. And here, to make it even more punchier, I increased the range on 191 Hz here, and it actually helped me well. And set it kind of in triplets. So yeah, here, since the rights and other things is still part of the drums, I'll tell about it, how I'm doing them. I actually like to sidechain almost everything, to be honest. I'm sidechaining rights, I'm sidechaining hi-hats, I'm sidechaining effects, sub-bass for sure, synths, all this stuff together. Because if you want to achieve really punchy and clean drums, trust me, you want to sidechain these things. Because sometimes people think like, oh, it's just an effect, or it's just a ride, oh, it's just hi-hat. It's not gonna like take too much of punchiness from my kick. Nah, it's gonna do, because all these things combined together, if they even sounded on really low volume, they still gonna get a little bit of transients from the beginning. And since I'm cutting off all these transients with the sidechain there in the beginning, I'm giving the room for my drums, and in the end of the day, they sounded really punchy and juicy. You can clearly hear them through the mix. That's the point. This is why you should sidechain, like hi-hats, rides. Doesn't matter how many things you have. Like, I have stab here, I have Atmo here. I like putting little atmospheres inside my drop, so I'm still gonna keep the same mood as the intro does. Like even steps like melodical one, I still sidechain literally everything. You can hear drop chain here. For the sidechain purpose, I'm using the thing called Duck. It's actually MIDI trigger here. To get this MIDI trigger, like for example, we just ran the instance, you set in here the MIDI. It's gonna go to the trigger mode. After that, you go into the options, set in the input port 1 and output port 1. After that, you actually go in to your rack here, like I'm sorted the pattern, and you just go into the sidechain. Like I'm just looking for it. Where is this? Where is this bad boy? My God, my projects are so messy. Okay, here you just insert in the thing called MIDI out. And once you put it on there, you're gonna have this thing. It's gonna be empty, like channel 1 and port 0. And if you want to connect your sidechain with the actual VST, you just set in the same channel as you set there. And after that, you actually go to the piano roll and setting it on C5. I don't actually need to set it because it's set already. My project is quite messy and I lost it. Oh, here is it actually. So it's called even sidechain there. As you can see, I put it there, and this sidechain, this amount of volume, it eats this amount of volume and creates the room for our drums to make them punchier. Not only transient shaper and boosting on of special frequencies and kicks would give you the opportunity to make your drums super punchy. Sidechain actually works for this purpose the best at the best. So if you're gonna combine good sidechain and good transients, as a final result, you're gonna have punchy drums. You can hear them clearly. So yeah, how do you layer your kick and snare so they don't pick your levels? How much low end do you have on those kicks? Okay, how do you layer your kicks and snares so they don't pick your levels? Actually doing everything by my ear, guy. You shouldn't really trust the graphs every time. Like, trust me. Sometimes you should trust your ear. It could redlining, it could like clipping as hell. Like some of the VSTs, like Isotope, could show you that it clips. It has a lot of laughs and all this stuff. But in the end of the day, you should trust your ear. If it's not cracking in your ear, use it. It could be even plus 20 dB. Use it. And like the actual purpose here, I just turned the volume here a little bit because it still was a little bit loud by my side, and decreased the volume here. And here I even decreased it more. So until I started liking how my kick sounds like, I left this at options like it goes right now. And it sounded good for me, and I was like, yeah, this is the best option I could have in this project. All these options works completely different in different projects because I don't have presets for each project. I like doing things from scratch, like even different post-processing for the drums and claps. Sometimes I'm just doing like things the same because I'm doing this quite often. But sometimes I like to experiment and trying to put different VSTs on my kicks. This is why my tunes sounding mostly different. And for drums, it still could be the same thing here. How much low end do you have on those kicks? You can see there. It's not really going on the side of 45 Hz, but at 100 Hz, sub and bass frequencies, it goes well, so you still can hear it. So yeah, something like that. At this point, I guess we could proceed through a little bit of sound design right now. You cannot believe me, guys, but I made this one in Juno Jupiter, one of my favorite VSTs. I chosen the Juno P South here, and I started messing up with this one. First of all, I turned the all effects which were there. I just turned everything off, like the type and delay type, like distortion, all this stuff. I turned the depth level on there just fully off because I don't need these odd effects on there. And after that, I started messing with the mods here, and I've decided that LFO works best for me because it actually creates the wave and it goes like wah 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 wah. After that, I turned the arpeggio type, like it's actually set as default here, to be honest. So here the sound sounds like. It's not even serum. Like sometimes you should experiment, you should use completely different things, and this is how it's gonna work for you in the end. Let's proceed to the post process. So here I turn off the noise, turn off the sub, I increase a little bit on this little thing, like soul level, so it's gonna sound more edgy in the end. LFO actually set as 0 there. Tempo sync turned on, so it's not gonna be offbeat with the MIDI because we don't need offbeat there. And I just been messing up with some of the settings there until I'm gonna like the sound. I'm be honest, I'm not a professional in terms of sound design and all these things. Sometimes I don't even know what these knobs do, but I'm just trying literally everything. And once I'm liking it by my ear, it's just like enough. Like, and if I'm liking it, I don't really need to change it much. And at this point, I was like, it's okay. Let's proceed with post-processing this one. I call this nice one. I set OTT to make it a little bit more compressed. I want it to be like more fat here. Like I would get rid of low frequencies. Disperser, I set it in G sharp to make a little bit of detune. I like detune sometimes on my synth, and the amount set on 50% and pinch on 0. Next thing, fab filter. This really weird EQing. So it was a lot of resonances on this sauce because I've been setting them as chords. And when they're as chords, each chord, each note inside the MIDI is having completely different frequencies. And when you're combining them together, they could create the weird resonances. And I still want people to enjoy my music, and I've decided to cut a lot of things there. And it worked quite well for me. Next thing, effects. I choose the vox there. And I really set a little bit on dry wet. It's actually like vocoder thing here, and it worked for me good at this point on there. It's just experimenting there. It's just dragging it up until you're liking it. For the dynamic EQ, getting rid of low frequencies till the 202 Hz, getting rid a little bit on the middle frequency range and high middle frequency range. Locking it up with OTT again to get all our fatness back, because sometimes when you get rid of low frequencies there, you could lose some of the fatness from the synth, and I want to bring it back, but at the same time I still decrease the low frequencies here. Shaper box, I use this one as a low pass filter to make this one going from nowhere. It goes synth and then it goes back like wah 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 wah, because without it it's not gonna sound as intense as it sounds now. Sounds completely like garbage. And here I'm turning this one and we have this good LFO feeling on there. Completely different result. And Endless Smile, I'm using this one for the better transitions or some kind of reverb tail in the end. I like to use this trick a lot. Next thing here, nice one too, is the same synth, frequency shifter. I choose the 5 here to make a little bit of detune, and as you can see, it's almost on the fully dry, like 88%. Still works well for me. Everything else here set as a default. Pitch shifter, I wanted to create this texture again, and I've decided to put -12 semitones and a little bit on the mixing. Next thing, manipulator, I chosen the chippy preset, but I changed it a little bit. I only left the mid and up here with the pitch form and the set dry button the 7%. It still works for me, and it's actually pretty good for the vocals and other stuff, and sometimes it works for synths. Belha room. Sometimes I like to create a kind of stereo thing, like making my synths more stereo with the Valhalla with this hi-cut thing here. It's just increasing hi-cut till the 15,000 Hz and increasing the mix a little bit, and trust me, you'll hear that your sound became wider and it had more harmonics inside it. Next thing, locking up with OTT, a little bit of fatness, everything else set as a default. Disperser again, but with really weird setting, G sharp on 9 and 68 kHz. Worked for me. I wanted to add some kind of a little bit of vocoding thing here, but on a really high frequency range, because when it plays through the shaper box, it still eats a little bit of these high frequencies, and I decided it's gonna be a good idea to use this one there. Form and filter, I use the U option here, and it's set on really low volume. Manipulator again with Octaver, I put harmonics on -0 to 150, ratio set on 0 of 500, and formant -1 to create a little bit of texture, detuned texture again. Really being careful with dry wet here, and it's almost turned off on there. Fab filter Pro and B, I just chosen the full band expander here to make this sound more expanded, more fuller, more juicy. It's just kind of compression again, but I increased the band volume here because it was a little bit lowest for me. Last thing here, saturation knob. We all like saturation out to saturate our things to make them sounding more crunchier, and I wanted to make it more crunchier with this thing. I chosen the saturation tab keep low because if you're gonna pick nitro, it's just actually gonna double up the value of this knob. So here I wanted to be really careful with this one. I'm choosing keep low and put it on the 1.2, and it worked for me. And the last things here, compression again, BG bass, low high type, full on compression, default output, nothing else. Portal. I actually haven't even used this in this one. I don't know why I put this there. I'm so sorry guys, like I haven't even used this. Sometimes I have alt VSTs being there without any reason, but as you can see, just default settings everywhere. I literally forgot to turn it off. Fab filter Saturn, a little bit of saturation on this synth again to make it more juicier for sure, because a lot of things being together combined with low volume on them making great results. Serum effects. Hyperdimension for the more dimension in synth, for more kind of space in synth, and unison I only chosen for unison, and as you can see there, everything barely dragged there. For the distortion I've chosen hard clip and choosing a little bit on drive, like 2%, and on the mix there like 29%, and LFO there, like I just set it on there. A little bit on flanger, barely works. A little bit on phaser, also barely works with automation on there, because I don't want to be as a sustained effect for the whole time. I wanted to go and go off, so it's just gonna follow the LFO there by this point. Multiband compression again, increase a little bit of gain, because some of these effects could eat a little bit of your volume, and I was like, no, I don't need this, I want to increase my volume again. And the last thing, I chosen the peak filter here, choosing the most highest frequency range, and added some LFOs there, full on mix. It's picking on the sum of frequencies there. I just choosing it by my ear, to be honest, no specific digits again, and it worked for me. It creates the peak on the sum. I will actually check right now. It actually goes by a range of 600. It drags there, so creating a small resonance at 600, and 600 hertz, I assume it's some kind of low middle, like kind of middle frequencies there, and when it creates it, it gives good boost for the middle frequencies, and it gives synth the option to stand out of the mix. Tape stop for the better transition from the drop to the second intro. Bell vintage verb, a little bit, like completely little bit of reverb on there, 1.2% mix, 20 seconds of decay, and I locked everything with getting rid of some odd frequencies, cutting off by 81 Hz. This is how this synth works here. No way, I never used Shaperbox. Okay, let's proceed. Let's see how many times. Okay, I guess we finished with this tune. Like I have option 45 minutes for the each tune. I guess we proceed like through the things there. My second tune have kind of the same sub. In the second tune, I'm gonna tell you how I'm making my sub bass, master chain, and other things, because this one is mostly sound design. But the last trick I'm gonna show there is the switch. Never hesitate to experiment. At this point, I'm gonna show you why.
Pump up the
You hear this blippy ploppy synth? You'll never believe how I've done this. Dudes, it's VST's peak. Yep, there it is. I only put this A here and actually put notes there. And it just sounds like that. And I just put the post-processing on it. This is why I sound, and not a lot of post-processing though. Disperser, effectors with tonal delay, getting rid of frequencies, OTT, fab filter, and endless smile for the better transitions. And it sounds great. Like sometimes it couldn't make sounds like that in Serum, and it's just default VST text to speech, and it worked like that for me. same thing. Even here I put F. It's ridiculous. It still worked for me. So yeah, this how it worked for me in this tune. This plugin, this one is called VST Speak. Here it is, VST Speak. It's actually free download, as I remember. Okay, let's proceed to the second tune, guys. This one called Broken, and it's gonna be released soon. Let's proceed to the tune Don't Play With It, my second favorite one. I'm gonna show you a little bit of intro, a little bit of drop, how it sounds like, and let's proceed to the main things, especially sound design there, because I liked the way how it sounds like there. Macro, switch smart disable. Okay, let's go on this one called Don't Play With It.
See me coming. Check it out. Killer, 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 killer.
Stop it.
Killer, killer, killer.
Killer, 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 killer.
Don't play with it.
So yeah, let's proceed in there. I've been using the same tricks as in Broken, resampling of the horns, all the stuff, and still adding my melodic touches on there, so actually nothing special. I used the Omnisphere here as a main texture, like just some kind of circuit bass here. It's actually just a loop. Let's proceed to the drop, because I like this part the most. But first of all, I want to tell you about how I'm making my sub bass. We had it somewhere. Yeah, here is it. Here's my sub. So to make my sub bass beefy, let's see how it sounds like without all plugins on there. Like, it's not even sub bass, dude, come on. Let's turn this one and this one. Now it's beefy and juicy. How do I do my sub usually? It's actually not that hard. I put MG low filter 12 here. Next thing here, I put analog BD sine wave here. It's actually default one in each serum, so you shouldn't hesitate to put this one. Next thing here, I put the trigger thing here, so it's gonna start from this point every time the sub bass plays, and I put the full L4 range on there, so it's just gonna be on full volume every time. I decreased a little bit of attack because I didn't want it to be super instant at this point. For the noise option here, I turned the Jupiter 60 here. Because I like white noise on my sub bass, to be honest. Like, it's one of the best things you could do with your sub bass. Layering your sub bass with the white noise could give the cool texture for your actual tune, because without it, sometimes it feels quite too simple, as for me. For the effects, I only had the tube distortion here. I turned it by the 71% and the mix on the full. This is how I do my sub. It's not that really hard, like, trust me. Here I have OTT. I turned the out gain by 50.8 dB. Yeah, it works. Turned off the high frequencies, middle frequencies, and turn low frequencies by the full to make this kind of beefy, like really aggressive sound. After that, I get rid of middle frequencies and increase the treble and the sub bass there, because for treble I increased it to make this little white noise on there to make it monetizable, like shh, 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 shh. After that, I put the OTT again with the depths on 100. Increase the low frequencies again, out gain. Once we have depths on 100, it's gonna show the full colors of your sub bass, especially if you're making this kind of near-funk sub bass there. I haven't used frequency shifter and CC advanced, I turned them off. Next thing, I use distortion by kilohertz. I chosen the saturation mode here, and I turned the drive mode a little bit down to decrease the super distort my sub bass, because I still want it to be beefy, but I don't want to be like super distorted. And I chosen the option of 60% on mix. 3 per EQ got rid almost of all frequencies, but we still have them together. Like it doesn't matter if you still have like big increases of frequencies there. You shouldn't really trust this thing. It's still not gonna cut all white noise at this point. I just wanted to do it like that, and it worked for me. MSW1, doing this bad boy fully mono, and actually doing this fully mono there. Like I'm being honest, I'm doing my sub bass double times mono. It's never a bad thing, but I'll be like 100% on point where my sub bass like fully mono. Like I'll be like, okay, yeah, it's fully mono, we can go like forward. And I put G clip here just to prevent clipping, just default clipper, free download, 100% on clip, 0 on softness, 0 on gain, all settings default. And as you can see, there is a link from sub bass to the sidechain. And for the sidechain, for sure, I've used Dock again. Let's read the chat. Let's see, what do I have in Serum here. There's actually a few layers, but they will kind of try hards for me, hard tries, I'm sorry, and I decided just to turn them off, like, and here, I made it like this. I made really weird LFO first. At this point it sounds there like this, it sounds really weird, but the point why it sounds like super flowy, because I put this one, I dragged it a little bit. After that I went to the tools last week, and as you can see, you can make a create automation clip for this LFO ratio here. And as you can see, I actually have the LFO ratio like there. I guess this is the Serum 6, which is gonna look how it goes when tune plays. It's just choosing the separate things out of the whole LFO movement, and it creates this like it goes like gum. Like imagine you spreading the gum. This is how it sounded for me. For the sound design, I choose an FM from B for sure. It is FM sub here, but it doesn't work because, like, don't worry about it. Imagine there is nothing on there, to be honest. Went full on FM from B, like full on position. I turned off the randomness and phase because I don't want my scene to sound random. Because if we're gonna have this one, it's still gonna create little of glitches, and every time the scene gonna play, it's still gonna sound random. And I want like completely straight sound, which not gonna be really changed. I picked the studying on unison with the tune and blend. I actually increased it for the more stereo movement and more harmonics inside my synth actually. And here I increased the octaves by 2 to make this one a little bit high pitcher, so we can hear like tun town, just because I turned this one up here by 2 octaves here. For the filter, I have this one, like, I don't know how to pronounce this, like phaser, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of phaser, but it works in a really weird way. Like I put 68 Hz here, full on mix. I get rid of LFOs there. I've been trying different metas here, but it worked for me when it just goes like that, without any automations, when it goes straight, without any changes. For the macros here, I have a warp. I've changed it a little bit, and this is why it changed the actual flow of the serum on there. For the effects here, I just turned a little bit on distortion and downsample option because I wanted to make this synth sound a little bit 8-bit-ish, and for this purpose I've chosen the downsample a little bit like on drive, and here I have only 5% of mix and multiband compression, nothing else. Everything else was post-processing. Here, let's start with Isotope Trash. This is kind of one of my favorite VSTs to the date. I like it so much because it's adding cool texture to the sound. I actually was going through this presets and I was like, yeah, add muscle. This works good. It's not over distorting my sound, but it's still giving me some kind of beefy texture, and it makes the colors brighter inside the synth. So you can use this one for different purpose, for example for increasing your sub distortion, increasing actual distortion and everywhere. This been made for distortion, so feel free to use it, guys. Next thing, OTT, 30% on depth. As I said earlier, no specific digits. Try to impress yourself every time and try to experiment every time. So here the best option which worked for me was to put depth on 30%, outgain on 3.4, and for sure get rid of low frequencies. Who need low frequencies on the actual synth when we have sub bass for this purpose, right? Next thing, EQ in here. I get rid of the low frequencies again by point of 128 and decreased a little bit of some resonances there and decreased a little bit of high frequencies because it was a little bit too harsh for my ears, and I decided that it's going to be a good option to get rid of it. Welcome room for more stereo and a little bit for reverb, because a little bit of reverb is never too bad for your synth, trust me. Sometimes synth isn't only about the sound design inside the serum. I assume that the synth is about the post-process. Like, you can have super different options, and like it's lots of options to be put there on mixer channel, and in the end you could have like super completely different results. So don't be sad if you have some kind of shitty synth inside of serum. Like, really don't be sad about this, because post-process...
Make your music stand out, get more views, and way more engagement. Bring your music to life. Get Music Visualizer. In every format, even for social media. Get started today. The link is in the description.
Right post-process. It comes with the time. It could fix your synth and set it on a good level where you're gonna enjoy it. Next thing here, frequency shifter. I set the range on 50 here, and it sounds kind of detuned right now, but it worked for me. Sometimes when you put your synth even in key on MIDI inside the FL Studio, it sounds a little bit off key. And I was like, oh, what if I'm just gonna increase the ratio here by 50 Hz with this frequency shift, and suddenly it became in key. This is how it worked for me. Kind of weird, but if it works, it works. Next thing there is Homicide, one of the weirdest distorted plugin ever. I actually just increased the band there and there. I haven't even touched other knobs because it still works at this point. It's just increasing the ratio which you wanted to sound distorted at this point. Anything else I haven't really touched there. Maybe shape. I've been touching the shape to making it sharper instead of fattener, because the main thing for me on this thing, I wanted to make it like as robotic as it possible and sharper, metallic as it possible, and for this purpose sharp option worked for me. Next thing, clocking up with OTT again, 31%, decreased a little bit of low frequencies. Effectrix, tonal delay. I put the tonal delay, but really lowest key ever you can get. But I still wanted to get this kind of robotic, metallic, low texture. And I was like, yeah, G sharp 0 would work. Why not? Feedback on the minimum, because if I'm gonna put it on full, it's gonna have like weird tail. And we don't need these weird tails there. Like, it's just not gonna sound beautiful with all this. Like, imagine if I had tun, 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 we don't need this. So this is why I set feedback by the minimum. I set widths by 41% because if I would put it a little bit more, it would be way too much stereo as for me. And after all these things, I played with master mix a little bit, and my most default option there on tonal delay is 15%. It's more than enough to be this effect noticeable with the other effects on your chain. Next thing, effects with Vox again. I chosen this option because it was a kind of high vocoder sound, like which makes this synth start speaking. This is what I'm mostly using VST for, to make my sound speaking, like wow, wow, wow. After that, 5 filter, get rid of this weird resonance and some other things, just trying to get rid of the dirt inside synth. I'll check the questions right now. How do you keep your sub in the same key as your main bass sound? Thanks for asking me. It's actually how I'm doing this. Nothing really hard. Like, for example, I have my synth there. It's in F2, and here my sub bass, it's actually F2 too. Like, when you're making your sub bass and synth together, you're making sure that, for example, if your synth goes in D sharp, for example, D sharp 4 for your synth, your sub bass should be like 2 octaves lower. It means it should be in D sharp 2. You can actually try it by your ear, because if you're gonna put your synth on D sharp 4 and your sub bass on D sharp 4, it's gonna be way too high, and it's gonna sound like wee, and we need like like low and deep sub bass, like woo. So at this point, you just turn your sub bass few octaves lower, and in the end of the day, we have this result. Like boop, 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 boop. And if I'm gonna put it higher, this is how I put it in key. So actually the same key as the drop key here, but make sure you put it lower, so it's gonna sound fatter. So at this point, I have F2 for my sub bass. So next thing about sound design, I liked to use channel pitch here in Serum, and the core speed thing here. Where is it? Let me show you. So this one, core speed. This is one of the weirdest things you can have in Serum. You see how it works? Without it, it's gonna sound like this. I wanted to make my scene sounding more futuristic, and for this point I've made the automation on core speed. To make the automation there, if you're working on a FL Studio, just barely dragging this one and go back to this point, like you have 2 minuses here. Go into the tools, last tweaked, and you're gonna have core speed automation on there. And just creating it and started to play with it. And I wanted to make my synth more futuristic with high pitch low thing in the end of this long pronounced synth in the beginning of the drop, like do 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 down 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 down. And I was like, yeah, it's not sounding boring. Like, if I'm gonna left it like that, like I can feel the idea, the futuristic idea. It's sounding too boring. And if I'm turn this one on, here, this one, this is the core speed effect on there. And it's actually channel pitch works there, and another core speed works there. So don't hesitate to use actually few automations of core speed. For example, you can do this on the like oscillator A and oscillator B and mix them in between, and you could get some really great results there. So I've been basically playing a lot with pitch there. As you can see, it goes down, it goes like a different point, and then it goes up again, like, and all this stuff combined. Here, if you can see, I have don't play with it layer sounds. I just put in them fully on like pitch. I'm turning the pitch like fully down. It's kind of texture again for my synth. I like my synths being layered with something, not with the actual synths like this, but sometimes I'm using like pitch, frequency shifters, all this stuff combined, like decreasing the semitones on them. But on there I just actually rendered the actual synth and they turned the semitones down to layer it with the main synth in the drop. And as for me, it sounded more fuller right now. Let's proceed to the switch, I guess, because I like this a lot.
That shit.
Sounds so melodical because I literally have like a lot of things there happening. Like, realistically, if you some kind of musician player, like if you playing on some instruments, this key is looking like really weird. But I've been trying different options to make sure that it's gonna be in the same key as my first part of the drop, and I was trying really bad, and I was like, I wanted to make some kind of emotions on there still, and it worked for me. I made the chord out of the serum synth, and this is how it looks inside. I called it Melodic Boy. Like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna turn this one like this. And this one goes right after. I want to like I have all these weird melodies in my head and I'm trying just to recreate them inside the full studio. So as you can see there, I made like few chords section with the different melodies in each pattern to follow up the previous one every time, because I wanted to keep this mood, like sad kind of mood in the tune. And here, like, it just goes the beginning on there, then it goes the like this is the follower up to the previous one, almost the same but a little bit change. Then I'm going fully bonkers right after this long synth, like wow. And this is how I made it. It's called Amazing as bitch. I'm sorry. It might not work because I have sidechain here. Yeah, now it's like because of Endless Smile. So here I'm gonna turn like that. So sounds like that. And here how I made it, I used like some kind of SQ short sync wavetable here, turned the semitones by 12, but increased the define by 100 cents. Same thing was there to make it in key. And recently, as I remember, it was update of the serum, and I was like, yo, I need to try this distort comp filter here. I was like, yeah, okay, I definitely should try it, and I tried it for the first time, and it worked really well for me. It created a cool resonance on there to make it more beefy and fully at the same time. With the effects, downsample again, so some kind of 8-bit sounding, and compression here, multi-band, a little bit in gain, everything set as a default. And as I said earlier, I showed you how it looks like there. Let's proceed to the master right now, I guess. How I've done all these things? Like, let's imagine we haven't any master at all here, and this is how it sounds like. it's not full at all. It's like sounded so empty, like it sounded like it has 5 tracks in total in this one. And once I'm turning everything on here, boom, we have like super huge increase. So here, first of all, I have also an imager. I turned the bandwidth here by -35 because these are low frequencies, because all low frequencies should be in mono. I haven't put them fully in mono because sometimes it's just gonna sound really weird. For example, for this tune, for Don't Play With It, it sounded really weird when I put them by full amount, like -100. So I decided -35 gonna be more than enough. On there, I set everything as a default, like 1.3. Here 6.3, and increased a little bit on high frequencies because I already have lots of kind of white things in my project because of MSW1 VST. Next thing is OTT, depth on 40%. In gain, I decreased it a little bit by -0.5. Then increased outgain by 1.3 and decreased a little bit of high frequencies because it was a little bit too harshy, a little bit decreased of male frequencies and low frequencies again. Next thing, contemporary color advanced. I like this one so much in kind of saturation, multi-band compression. This is how it actually works for me. I here increase the high color. It's not working like EQing, so when you increase in the high color, it's not gonna hurt your ears. And increase the high mid color and bass color. I didn't want to increase low mid because it was a lot of low mid already. Next thing, locking up OTT again, depth setting, everything else is the default. Locking up with G-Clip, increasing gain a little bit because some of these plugins could eat a little bit of volume, and I decided like, oh okay, I need to increase it. Next thing, saturation up, keep high. I chosen the keep high option there because I wanted to be really careful with this one. At saturation here goes at maximum for me by 0.5, just to make the whole tune sounding a little bit more crunchier. Like a little bit of saturation is never bad for your tune, so don't even worry about this option. Next thing is maximizer. I went to the RC3 option, choosing the crisp. Like I actually went through the all options and I've decided the crisp works best for me, like at least for my ear. Like listen to your ear, if it sounds good for you, choose this option. If it's not really sounds good, you should learn how to choose between different modes here, because sometimes they could sound even the same for you. And the best advice I could give you, try to relax after like 30 minutes of production. Try to relax your ears for like 10 minutes at least, and then go back for production and check different modes, and trust me, you'll hear the difference. And I've done this, and crisp mid works the best for me. I increased a little bit on stereo independence transients because I wanted things like hi-hats, rides, effects, all this stuff which mostly in stereo to be more noticeable in the mix, and I increased the transients and sustain and amount of the whole transient and passes here. Everything else there left as a default. Then also an exciter. Everywhere I choosing the tape mode because I like this old school warm sounding, and just set the really low amount here and just been increasing the mix on each frequency range there. I've decided to go like almost fully on the high frequency range because I wanted this warm, especially on the high frequencies, because they were a little bit like too plastic for me. And I was like, yo, I need to turn this thing into the better thing. And the isotope ozone exciter works perfectly for this purpose. And the very last thing I put here is invisible limiter. Limit level 0. Input level 0, output gain. I put a little bit of output here. I chosen the X1 44.1 kHz, low latency because as a default it could be normal here, and the clip overshoot because it could be suppressed here for some reason. This is how I'm mastering my tunes in the end. So yeah, we actually guys proceed through the 2 tunes. And we have like 15 minutes left for the old questions right now. Do you produce with your master chain on at all? Yeah, I like to produce with the master chain because I actually put it from the very beginning, to be honest, because if it's not on there, everything sounds thin and not fat for me, and I'm feeling a little bit unmotivated when it's not sounding good already, you know. And when I put one of my master channel presets, I have like very few, maybe 3 or 4 for each situation. I'm choosing like the best one which works for me. Sometimes I make some little tweaks to increase or decrease volume on there or on there, maybe OTT depths or OTT outgain, and then I'm starting to work. Actually, this is how it works for me. Any other questions, guys? We have like 15 minutes for the questions right now, because I guess I finished up with the projects. I put like 45 minutes on each project, and we have like, when you use MS, how bad does that affect your mono signal? I don't really think it affects it bad, because I mostly put it on the things which should be in stereo. For example, synths, hi-hats, like all the stuff which should be white, and I put MSW1 on all these things. If I wanted my things to be mono, I put it only on kick and on sub bass. Everything else I'm trying to set the right room for the each instrument to be in stereo, and I can't really say that it affects bad. I've been sending my music to a lot of people, and they said that stereo range in my tunes sounded good. And yeah, like I would like to use MSW1 in future still. Thanks for asking, Kyle. Anything else, guys? If you want to show design trick or two for the last minute, that would be dope. Oh yeah, okay. I'll try to show this trick with the endless smile there. As you can hear, there is little reverb tail on there, and as for me it sounds really beautiful, like it fulfilling the tune here. Doesn't sound really full without this little trick, and here endless smile. So for this trick, you don't actually need a lot of knowledge, to be honest. Let's just go to the serum second option here. So yeah, endless smile is there, and here we have serum second. I just go like that, and we have endless smile there. And I actually dragged the intensity knob. As you can see, the guy becomes happy. If you want this beautiful tail in your tunes, this VST is such good VST for the transitions and all this stuff together. I just dragging it a little bit, go into the tools, last tweaked, and you're gonna create the automation clip for this one. But since we have this one, I don't want to double this up. And as you can see, it's just increasing at this point once it goes there. I want to try to turn it like that, and I want to put the sidechain there. I assume this is sidechain. Just a lot of endless smile. Hold on. Should be another one should be there. Sometimes it goes bonkers. Like yeah. Should be in the intro there. Endless smile. Yeah, there. And there. And also there. And I'm gonna put this one on. Like, as for me, it creates some kind of backwards sound with the reverb combined, and it actually sounds cool. So this would be like one of my main tricks, which I'm using mostly for my sound design things. For the another trick, I actually showed you everything I'm using, but the main thing here, try to use disperser as much as you can, like one of the best plugins there. Like if you set the 3 in a row, then set vocodecs, and then set some tonal delay, you could achieve like really weird and cool sounds. Like try to set 3 dispersers in a row, and trust me, it should work well. Like, but try to play with amount and try to decrease pinch to get rid of some kind of resonances on there, because it's just gonna hurt your ear at this point. How many using a small reverb throw is dopest idea? Dope. How many stock FL plugins do you use for effects? Actually, very few, to be honest. Like things like FX here. This one is the stock one, I assume. Anything else is mostly like third-party plugins. Like I can tell that free parameter goes for the effects, just EQing. So the main thing I'm using for the effects there is just effects. Like it's called effector effects module, and I'm using this one as the main one. So I assume here, at least in this project, I use this one, and I'm not really using a lot of them during the other sessions. Let's proceed through the sound design. I could show you a little bit of Harmor for the last few minutes. Let's go with the new project. And I'm gonna show you how I'm doing my like weird sounds in Harmor. Like let's turn this boy on. Let's choose the default preset, I'm sorry. And this is how it goes. You actually just turn the note you want, like for example D3. I have D3 here. I want to make this one shorter. Yeah, this one's alright. You want to turn the off speed motion like by 0, to be honest, to make the sounding really straight. At this point, this Harmor whole thing, it proceeds through the phasers. Like everything there is set on phasers. And if you want to achieve like really cool effect, you just go into the phaser first. Like we already have a little bit of phaser there. But it's not final thing. You have few modes here: octave, hertz, and harm. Let's choose the harm mode and choose, for example, the deep mode here. We already have some kind of weird sound. If you want some kind of weird texture for your sound, you go into the timbre, press the right click and randomize. And let's proceed with the automation things. Filter 1 frequency. You press this knob, enable envelope, tempo, and global. And you actually just draw in the thing you want, to be honest. Like boom, boom, and this one. And let's draw something. Let's go to the phaser mix right now. Let's actually do the same thing, but a little bit more default, kind of. Maybe like that. Let's proceed to the phaser widths, making the same thing, enabling the automation there. Let's turn on a little bit on frequency and detune. Yeah, sounds more aggressive as for me. Let's proceed to the phaser offset. This is the offset here, and this one works actually quite well also, because it could change the actual key of the sound, but at the same time you may abuse it a lot, like this. Let's play with modes here. Some futuristic sounds. Let's randomize this again. Let's proceed to the pitch right now. I actually want to automate my pitch to make it sound like really fucking weird. Like we could draw something like that. Like. So So this one, envelope, if you're gonna make it backwards, it's just gonna do the backwards thing, and if you're gonna do it like that, it's just gonna add the pitch articulator amount by plus 6,000 cents. You make it like, you can make it like super bonkers at this point, like super weird sound like that. I like this, sounded weird and it's cool, like some kind of laser thing. Next thing I like to play with here is distortion. I like to put some kind of offset, scene crush, beat crush. Let's try a few different ones and let's see which one gonna fit the most for us. I guess rubber works for us best. And we have compression methods here, like limiting, warming, heating, and burning. We just get rid of low frequencies there, so we actually don't need to cut them through the EQ inspector here. Here you could add some harmonics with the harmonizer thing. And we have some like kind of really weird synth right now. And we can choose different modes here. But I'm also like going with deeper and harm, just like one of my main things to do. Here we can use also let's see what we can use there. Like I'm mostly going with these ones and trying to make the sound as crazy as it could be. Like you don't need that much in harmor. Filter one frequency to set the LFO of your shape, how it's gonna go, how it's gonna sound like. You can make quarter note. Phaser mix, how many of phaser mix there you want there. You're just making the automation with this pen there. Phaser widths, how many widths you want to affect to this mix. Like you can like make it even like that, even like this. Phaser offset, like to change the key sometimes with this one. And like pitch is like one of my favorite things. It could dramatically change the sound overall. You can make some really weird stuff there, like it could even sound like space laces, not gonna lie. Like this. And it's not even post-process, guys. It's only one oscillator with few options, frequency, detune, like a little bit on envelope. We can turn on vibrato here also. And like everything set is the default and we still have cool sound. And as I said earlier, don't hesitate to make like I'm not like saying you should make shitty sound. You should make a sound to be prepared for the post-processing. For example, this one, I assume it's more than ready to start being post-processing with things like vocodecs, disperser, OTT, isotope trash, like any kilohertz plugins, like, and all this stuff being together. So the main things for harmor: filter one frequency, phaser mix, phaser widths, phaser offset, pitch. And you can actually play with the prism here, like changing it a little bit. That's all, I guess. Do you use a lot of automation per sound? Depends on situation. Sometimes I need to use a lot of them, sometimes not, sometimes I'm just going straight, but mostly yeah, especially in Don't Play With It, I used a lot of automations to make the sound the right way I want it to be. Yeah, so yeah, something like that. We could have like very last question, and I guess we have finished for today. Like, so yeah guys, feel free to answer me last question, and I guess we're good. Like I proceeded through my projects, like showed you some sound design, how I'm doing my intro, sub bass, all this stuff, and a little bit of hardware sound design. If you have guys like last question, feel free to ask me. Yeah, man, it's like seriously, I have no idea how this proceeds really fast. It's just like very first 5 minutes I was a little bit nervous, but then like literally went away. And yeah, after that it was great. It was actually great, guys. Thank you so much for picking me up. Like, it feels so good. Like, I never thought that I'll be picked up by such big guys. I always thought that my maximum is like 1v1 lessons and all this stuff. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for coming for these lessons. And I actually, how does one know when a song is done? Man, you just listen to this tune. When it's done, you need to give your ears relaxation first. It would be good to work at night, for example, go to sleep and wake up and listen. And if it's not empty for you, and in drop and intro and all these things, outro, if it's not feels empty for you, you're good. You can release it. How many laughs, do you shoot for a song to be at? Yo, hit, trust me, I never really use these laughs. Like, I'm not checking graphs, man. I'm listening by my ear. If it's loud for my ear, it could be loud for the other people. Like, I'm not going against loudness war. I don't want my tunes to be super loud, and I'm just making them loud enough, you know, and I'm trying to make them sound good on everything, on the phones, on their default earbuds, on Apple AirPods, on monitors, and especially Leaf. This is how I'm trying to do all these things in terms of loudness. So if it's loud in my headphones, if it's loud enough in my monitors, I'm not trying to crank it up till the fat sausage on the SoundCloud. There is no necessary for me. So yeah, I guess I answered all your questions. Thank you guys so much for coming. I appreciate. I really hope you enjoyed this session, and hopefully I'll see you in the future with more knowledge from me, so I can teach you more things. So yeah, boys, I actually released my tune Unique on my SoundCloud, so feel free to proceed and download this as a free one. Thank you so much again for coming. Thanks for Alex for picking me up for the Difffire. I appreciate this. See you soon, guys. Goodbye.